Getting in breaking inputs, we are learning about the Telangana Minorities Welfare Budget and the allocation. All right, we are learning that around 3,000 crore has been allocated for minority welfare, out of which 33 crores have been allocated for Ramzan celebrations, 50 lakhs for Ashur Khanas, for over 4 crores for the Hajj pilgrims, and over 2.4 crores has been allocated for the meeting of the Tablighi Jamaat Islamia in January of 2024. This is the latest breakup that we are bringing to you of the minority budget that has been allocated in Telangana so far. Let's quickly go across to Swastika. Swastika, what is one to make of this entire breakup of the budget?
Well, politics is expected to break out over the allocation to the minority budget welfare because this time around, this is the highest ever allocation that has happened towards the minorities, and also comes in the backdrop of the Congress, remember, promising during its election campaign of increasing the budget of minorities to 4,000 crore. Though they have fallen short on that promise because of limited state exchequer funds, and that which remains a big challenge for them. But 3,000 crores being allocated to the minorities, 33 crores for Ramzan celebration, which in fact is a very big celebration here in Hyderabad, considering the population of the minority community. Overall, if you look at the state, it's roughly about 50 lakh minorities who live spanned across the state. So this is definitely one of the biggest bold promises that the Congress government had. And it also comes in the backdrop of their win, of which minorities have in fact played a big factor in ensuring that the Congress comes to power. Also pertinent to note in the breakdown of the budgets that have happened in the past couple of years, this is the highest ever allocation. In the last budget by the PRS government then, the budget was about 2,000 crores. What is significant to understand is that over the minority budgets have gone up, whether it is the Congress government now in its maiden budget or in the erstwhile BRS government also, which ensured that the percentage of the budget allocation towards the minorities, whether
all right, but this is clearly the highest allocation going by the information that you are sharing, Swastika, and I'm going to request you to continue staying with me. In fact, I'm also joined by Krishna Sagar Rao of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Mr. Rao, what do you make of this information that has just come in? It classifies this budget as the highest allocation for minorities that Telangana has ever seen.
Yeah, it's not a financial budget. It is not a financial plan of revenue and expenditure. It is a political budget,
right,
very evident, and Bharatiya Janata Party condemns this kind of an appeasement budget while the state is reeling under almost bankruptcy in terms of the revenues, and the expenditure is being met on a monthly basis by taking loans by forming corporations. So Revant Reddy is going by the signature style of Congress governments elsewhere to appease the minorities. And Bharatiya Janata Party actually has warned even before the government came up with the budget that if you do not allocate the budgetary provisions for what you have promised the gullible people who voted for you to come to power, then obviously people will come onto the streets. There are 6 guarantees which are not funded in this particular budget. Then why did you give the promise? You know, they have promised women, they have promised senior citizens, they have promised youth, they have promised farmers. So many guarantees, calling them, you know, Sonia Gandhi's guarantees, Rahul Gandhi's guarantees. None of the guarantees have been funded so far. But
how do you weigh in on these figures, especially keeping in mind that Telangana has already been crying foul, especially Revant Reddy, that the short end of the budget stick again has been received by Telangana primarily, and the lion's share has gone to Andhra Pradesh?
See, it is not about, the regular budgetary allocations for every state comes from a constitutional provision of tax allocations or tax, partnerships between state and center. So everything, and also the schemes and then the grants, everything was provided equally to all the states, not just Andhra or Bihar or Telangana. But the extra provision was given under a special circumstance because Andhra Pradesh doesn't even have a capital city. So the capital city fund was given as a support from the central government for 15,000 crores. That's all what Andhra got, as an extra. And they do deserve it. I'm from Telangana, and people of Telangana have never raised an issue of the support which was extended to Andhra because they have been divided without a capital city. And this is 10 years after division, they still don't have a capital city, thanks to the politics. So that is not the reason why, CM Revanth Reddy should be crying. He should be crying that instead of governing the state and coming up with a viable budget where the state will not suffer and delivering the promises he made politically to come to power, he should have done what is right for the state. Rather, trying to win votes in the next GHMC elections by appeasing minorities all over again.
Mr. Rao, are you trying to state the point that the state themselves have not been very responsible with the allocation of the funds that are currently existing with them?
No, completely irresponsible. Where is the word called responsibility? In the name of welfare, they're just doling out bribes to the voters. And this has been so in the last 10 years too under KCR's government, TRS government. And Congress is no better. Both of them belong to the same, they're the face of the same coin. So today they have brought most of the states where they rule, the Congress party, to down to bankruptcy. They are dependent now on the center for the arms. I'm sorry to use the harsh word, but you need to build your own revenues as a state. You need to have your own expenditure outlay. You cannot blame central government for not allocating more than what is constitutionally possible.
There's also an allocation being made for the Tablighi Jamaat Islamia in January of 2024 itself. It was made. What do you make of when allocations are made for extremely controversial Islamic outfits like the Tablighi Jamaat?
See, the format is, the more controversial it is, the more beneficial it is for a party. The more controversial, then there is a discussion on it over the media. And then they'll say, oh, that's so great that, this man actually has given the outlay, despite the fact that there will be opposition because it's an illogical outlay. So that is what the minority appeasement is all about. You bend backwards and
all
showcase
right, Mr. Rao, I'm so sorry to interrupt you there. Going to request you to continue staying with me. I'm also joined in by Ms. Nilima Kota, who is the General Secretary of Telangana Congress. Ms. Kota, how do you weigh in on the kind of charges that are now coming in from the Bharatiya Janata Party? They are calling it minority appeasement, especially keeping in mind that you've been crying foul about how your state is lacking funds.
First of all, I don't know who's on the panel, but I would like to talk
Mr. Krishna
about...
Sagar Rao of the BJP is there.
Okay. So, I don't agree with this idea. I mean, this is something which the voters have also rejected in the last election, and BJP, I'm sorry, is not learning the lesson. It is not minority appeasement. It is uplifting the poor. It is making sure that there is equal opportunity for everyone. And that is exactly what the Congress has stood for in all its history. Now, the voters of this country have shown, the BJP especially, what they think of their ignorance or their neglect of the poor of this nation. And if even now they raise questions like this and point fingers at the only party, which is the Congress party, which is thinking of the poor, then I don't have anything to say. It's really shameful.
Mr. Rao, would you like to weigh in on what Nilima Kota is saying, that this cannot be called minority appeasement because the Muslims happen to, in fact, occupy a major part of the population in the state?
That's not what I said.
Major? How is it major part? This is more of a comedy.
That is not what I said.
A comedy of sorts.
That is not what I said.
All right, Nilima, please go ahead.
I was not saying it's a major. I said that the poorest, I mean, if you cannot stand by the Constitution, which says we must put the poor first, then what are we about? What is the politics about?
So are you saying that only the Muslims in Telangana are poor?
Or poor?
That's not true.
I mean,
we have schemes for almost every single segment of the poor in Telangana.
Let me come in there.
That's exactly what we stand for.
All right.
It is wrong.
All right. Let's also listen to what Krishna Sagar Rao has to say. Krishna, please go ahead.
No, I don't wish to make any personal statements, but it is downright illiterate to talk about poor existing in only one religion. And you are bending backwards to woo the votes of Muslims openly. And it's so shameless to say that the poor exist in only one religion. I mean, how in the world can you actually justify what you're saying? And what did you do with your promises, 6 guarantees? Who's funding the guarantees? How can you give the money only to one religion, 3,500 crores plus, just for one scheme where the average was always 1,200 something? So now to justify that is I think it's a comedy of
Nilima,
sorts, ironic.
2.5 crore rupees allocated only for the meeting of Tablighi Jamaat. How is that justified?
She can't justify.
No,
She's
no,
trying
I'm
to
asking.
defend the
Let's also
indefensible.
listen into what she has to say. Nilima,
No, I'm not trying to defend the indefensible. I'm trying to put forth the principles on which this nation was founded. If that is defending the indefensible, then I have nothing more to say, especially to the BJP representative. But here is the fact. We just announced a massive loan waiver for the farmers. Now, the farmers are the poorest and the most hardworking people of the country. We are the only, Congress is the only party which sees these people. This is the truth that the voters are also aware of. They have given their verdict in the last election. Now, I want to raise a question. They have been pointing fingers, saying that, baseless things which they have been blaming us for. Where is the commitment of the BJP for Telangana? Why is it absent? There are two ministers from BJP who are sitting from Telangana in the union cabinet. Where is the commitment? Where? Zero. There has been zero budget for Telangana. Whatever we are doing, we are struggling on our own, and our Honorable Chief Minister is keeping every promise we made to the poorest and the most needy in the society.
you know,
And
Krishna
if
Sagar
that
Rao,
is not-
that's a question which is inevitable at the moment as we speak, and that's not just being raised by the state of Telangana, it's coming from Karnataka, Kerala, even Tamil Nadu.
See, this is a diversion politics. I think the lady who's the representative of Congress,
I didn't know it was
who's
a
the
humor
representative of Congress, he doesn't belong to Telangana. It's very evident. She doesn't know what has been promised. It's very evident. And what you have given to the farmer just before the budget is only half of what you have promised. You have promised a loan waiver of 2 lakhs, and you have only done 1 lakh, and you haven't explained why. And so far, the women were supposed to get 2,500, no matter which religion or community they belong across the state. Not a rupee has been given. They even promised 10 grams of gold. Can you believe that?
But Mr. Rao, the question
that
then
has not
comes
been
back
given.
to the centre. Where is the assistance coming in from the centre?
No, why are you talking about assistance as if you are a special state? You are a state when you got divided. I am in the state. We are the most prosperous state in terms of revenues. We have Hyderabad, the number 2 location of IT.
Right.
We are the second IT capital of this country.
All right.
We are proud. We don't want to go
that's
down
a very
to our
valid
knees
point
and say
coming
we are a
in.
poor state.
Ms. Nilima, I'd like to close in with your thoughts. There's a very valid point being made by Krishna Sagar Rao over there. Can you really compare the economic aspect of your state when it comes to Andhra Pradesh especially?
I would like to advise the gentleman who was talking about Telangana to learn about Telangana. I am from Telangana, and I have always been from Telangana. I request him to listen to our Honorable Chief Minister Rs3000 Crore's speech today in Assembly to understand how the economy of the state has been destroyed in the last 10 years. It is now up to the Congress not just to build the economy, but also uplift every segment of the poor from wherever they are to a better position. Now, that is the burden which we are carrying. In this burden, the BJP shares nothing. They have given us nothing, and they do not have any
right,
right,
I'm afraid
any
I'm
moral
running
right
short
to...
of time. We'll have to leave it at that. Many thanks to you, Ms. Nilima and Mr. Rao, for joining in on this discussion on CNN News 18. And with that, it's time for a quick break. We'll be back with more breaking inputs. Stay tuned.